Today I'm going to rank every spell in Clash Royale from worst to best. Spells are probably like one of the most important parts of your deck. If you have the wrong spells, you're going to have a very not fun time. So starting off with the clone, don't put this in your deck. Yes, I understand that, you know, when you get a giant skeleton clone mirror on the King Tower, it's like the greatest thing of all time. But realistically, 99 out of 100 times you play the clone, it is a waste of elixir, it doesn't do anything, and it gets countered by like 76 different cards. The clone is not worth it, you're wasting a spot in your deck, it oftentimes doesn't get value and just get countered by the thing that normally counters your push, like a, you know, one of any 76 cards that counters the beatdown pushes. Next up is the mirror, and I want to clarify, we're not doing a Goblin Barrel or Graveyard in this ranking, because they kind of just, they're win conditions. They spawn troops directly on the tower, they're not like the other spells. Really, they're just classified as spells because they're spells, but we're not ranking them because they're not spell. You know what I'm saying? Mirror, it is great, doing absolutely nothing. I feel like if it wasn't a +1 elixir cost, it would be a lot better. The problem is, oftentimes, while it's cool to mirror something, with a +1 elixir cost makes it so that you would have probably been able to do the same exact thing with the elixir you just spent using a cheaper unit or a unit that costs the exact same elixir. So you're cutting yourself off from having another better card in your deck or having an actual spell. Freeze is coming in at 16 because the freeze oftentimes just gives your opponent a really good counter push. You freeze things for 4 seconds, they sit there. Oftentimes, unless you're pairing it with like an E-Drag, Evo, and a NATO, it's gonna stay there. It's just gonna get frozen. Now your opponent has a big counter push and you get rolled. Or you freeze and you get 1 extra balloon hit, and now you're down 4 elixir and you get rolled by the counter push. That's just, oftentimes you use the freeze, it doesn't do something. Yes, occasionally, I understand to all my comments out there, freeze should not be at 6. It does something sometimes. The sometimes is a very important part of the sentence. Sometimes. It usually doesn't do enough or is worth using over a big spell that would actually kill the opponent's units. Oh, holy stutter. Void got nerfed into Oblivion and is one of the worst spells in the game, and it should remain that way. The problem is, why would I use this over a big spell or arrows? It doesn't do either of the jobs. It's like a crappy hybrid version that, like, if my opponent decides to not respond to the void by putting something in it, it will like almost kill a baby dragon. What the hell is the point of that? My fireball almost kills a baby dragon. So like come on, like the void just doesn't really do anything. It's not worth using. And even if every single time you played it, it was the version that does the most damage, it still wouldn't be worth using in a lot of cases. Delivery is at 14, and I really hate this ranking. But, like, the Royal Delivery, one of the best defensive cards in the game. It is so satisfying to play those minor decks with Delivery in them and Queen decks with Delivery in them and get good value with the Delivery. The problem being, it doesn't do anything on offense. Every other spell here is able to be used on offense. So where can I really put the Delivery if you can't use it on offense? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's a great defensive spell. One of the best defensive spells in the game. But does that make up for not being able to use it on offense? Not really. Tornado at 13, it got a crazy nerf. It probably would have been like top 7 before its nerf, and it just like throws a wet paper towel at you. So it, you know, it doesn't kill a goblin gang. It doesn't kill spear goblins. It doesn't do anything damage wise. So now it's clearly just used for its utility purposes, and while that's still cool, it definitely got a big nerf, and tornado decks in general saw a big decline in, you know, win rate and usage percentage because it was a pretty big nerf. Earthquake, we love the Earthquake. The problem is, well, it's the go-to spell in hog decks and hog EQ decks. It's not usable in a lot of decks. While it would be fun, right, to use E-Giant Earthquake and, you know, Royal Giant Earthquake and freaking Lava Hound Earthquake to take out the Teslas. It doesn't do anything to the actual troops themselves. While it can kill like what, a goblin gang, it's actually pretty good defending graveyards too. It's not meant to do that. It's a very niche spell, which is why it can't be ranked higher, because it just doesn't do anything outside of that niche. 11 is the Goblin Curse. We love the Goblin Curse. I hate the Goblin Curse. Damage amplification makes me want to the card itself is pretty viable. You pair it with like a Rage or a Zap, and it just dominates, turns everything into goblins, rages the things that are dealing 20% more damage or taking 20% more damage. It's a very fun card. It's very effective, and it makes decks really cancer sometimes. So it's a pretty solid. It's game changing in certain circumstances, but it's not like that one spell that's everybody's going to put in their deck because it kills things. It's a support spell. Number 10 is Rocket. We love the Rocket because the Rocket is able to just annihilate things. Your opponents stack up huge pushes, you just demolish them. The problem is it's a little bit hard to use. It's not a beginner friendly spell, and it's just 6 elixir. So oftentimes you're not going to be able to put it in a lot of decks where you're constantly spending a lot of elixir, because Rocket's not going to be affordable ever, even though, you know, sometimes they whip out the Rocket 4 minutes and 53 seconds into the game, you lose. But it's just realistically, it's not getting the consistent value that the S tier spells are getting. So it's, you know, it's good, great for rocket cycling. It's really annoying and it has its purposes, but it is a bit hefty and hard to use. Poison at number 9. It's probably the weakest of the big spells. Now, I don't really want to call Rocket a big spell. I guess I should, right? But it's kind of a little different. You have the core spells, you know, Fireball, Lightning. I guess if Lightning's included, screw it, Rocket's in there too. Poison. It's just, Poison is great in certain decks. And decks where you're fine with playing slow, you want to control the board, you don't care about getting the opponent's troops off immediately. When you're playing a deck where you need to get your push to the tower and you need to get the opponent's counter, or just use, what the hell is the word for it? Your opponent has a musketeer. You need to get the musketeer off the board or you're going to lose. Poison's not your spell to go to. Number 8 is the Barb Barrel. This is a really good equivalent to the log, or because it does like really good log value oftentimes without the knockback, and it allows decks that don't necessarily have a ton of troops to get away with not having a ton of troops, because you have a Barb Barrel or a Barbarian come out of the Barb Barrel. So you're getting a Barbarian, that's kind of cool. You're getting a log that doesn't do knockback, which is fine for the most part, as long as you are having enough defense in your deck to make up for not having knockback. And oftentimes, you're going to see the Barb Barrel be very popular. One of the most popular spells in the game. I believe it's top 5. So, yeah, it's really good. I am including Evos in this, because it just wouldn't make sense not to. The Evo Snowball is insanely powerful. The Snowball is good too. So I'm trying to balance out the two. Like, Snowball Evo is ridiculous, but also we're trying to rank in the normal Snowball. Snowball's great. Love it. I think more decks should probably use it. Evo Snowball, great, amazing as well. But the thing is, you're not just looking at how good the Evo Snowball is. You're looking at if it's good enough to replace the other Evos in your deck. Can you just throw the Evo in your deck with sacrificing another one? Probably not most of the time. But the Snowball Evo is very powerful. It's going to get you a lot of stall and slow and get you extra damage on the tower. It's better than the freeze by a large margin. And the slowdown knockback, incredible. It just, you know, it doesn't reset things like eye towers and stuff, so that's where Zap has the advantage. At number 6, we have Lightning. Lightning is a very effective spell. Did get a pretty heavy Crown Tower nerf, but hey, it's still very effective. It's very strong. It's good at dealing with buildings and support troops, and every Evo they release now is a Lightning bait card, so hey, we have Lightning. They did nerf those Evos a lot though, so Lightning's kind of fell off a little bit in the meta, but hey, Lightning's great in beatdown. Great at dealing with stuff very quickly, and kind of the antithesis of the poison we were talking about, and is always going to be a decent spell. The problem is it is 6 elixir, so oftentimes if your deck is a bit on the heavy side, it's not worth using. Fireball, the staple, baby. Every deck can run a Fireball, although some circumstances will have Lightning be better, Poison be better, Rocket be better. Fireball's your go-to. You don't know what spell to use? Fireball is going to help you out. Fireball is a jack of all trades, does really good damage, has some knockback. It's good on offense, fast enough. Deals pretty much when paired with any other spell enough to kill anything in the game. And it's just, it's a go-to spell. It's really good. We love the Fireball. The Zap evolution. This card is kind of really carried by the Evo. The Zap itself, I'd say, is like 12 or 13, maybe. Squish it in between Earthquake and Curse or Tornado. It's fun, you know, does some damage. It's instant, which is what it has over the Snowball, so the predictions are easier. But the Evo Zap is a whole nother beast. You get double the stun. You are able to kill things like firecrackers, dark goblins, minion hordes, etc. You pair it with different cards. Like Fireball, you're able to kill Queen. You're able to kill E-Drag. You're able to do so much more when you have the Evo Zap in hand. Evo Zap, it's just the best Evo spell in the game. And it's very, very, very strong. I would highly recommend playing this card if you have room for... Like, if you're running a Zap Evo is absolutely something you should consider. Although, oftentimes, most decks will be better with Log or Rage. Zap Evo, still very strong, even if there are better options. Coming in third, we have the Rage. The Rage is extremely underrated. I don't feel like people are the Rage is a nerf. It needs to be nerfed now. It should not deal damage. Because it deals damage, you pair it with the curse, it turns everything into goblins, everything's attacking faster, everything's taking 20% more damage, it lasts for too long, and it only costs 2 elixir. And it's easy to play, so you just dump it on top of your stupid, dumbass, broken-ass push. And you can, yeah, this is coming from deep in the heart. I hate the Rage spell. And valid, because it's really, really good. Ever since it started dealing damage, it's now a viable small spell, just like Zap, Log, Rage. It's really good. The Rage is really, really good. You should literally, legitimately, I hate that I'm going to tell you this, try it out if you haven't already. If you think I'm just talking out of my butt, literally just go try it. Just replace your small spell with Rage. And maybe a curse. Maybe not a curse. I didn't, if you play the Rage Curse combo, I didn't tell you to, okay? Arrows at number 2. Arrows just so freaking strong. Part of this is because bait is bait. I play Clash Royale, I face bait, dark goblin, bait, Evo dark goblin, bait. Oh my god. If you have arrows in your deck, which I can't afford to, because if I run arrows, then I can't kill big troops that I actually need to kill, like queens, E-Drags, etc. The arrows are great. The arrows are great because there's so many annoying arrowsable cards that dominate the meta and are really easy to deal with if you have arrows. Firecracker, Dark Goblin, the Goblin Gangs, the Minion Hordes, all the bait decks. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain every single one of them. Arrows are just great at dealing with them. They honestly aren't a bad... spell to just like arrow things, you know, fireball arrows kills like E-Drags and queens and stuff. Not normally people use that combo, but arrows in general can just be used as that one spell in your deck sometimes. If you have the right tower troop or you have the right deck where you could just get away with running arrows, you don't need a big spell and you're able to give yourself an advantage over all these broken bait decks. Vlog! I do need to put an asterisk on this. Asterisk, whatever it's freaking called. If it is under-leveled, it takes a massive, massive downfall. This card, ever since I did that nerf like a month ago, if you have it under-leveled, it won't do interactions that it should do normally. Like, it won't kill things that usually should kill. Like, I freaking, what, a princess or something it doesn't kill? So there's lots of interactions with the log now, where you need to level it up. But as a level 15 spell, let's just assume all of these are maxed. It's going to be the best spell in the game. It is. It's jack of all trades like the fireball, but it costs 2 elixir. It does crazy knockback, good damage. It stays on the board for a while. You can predict with it. And, you know, it's just the go-to spell. You would never go wrong putting a log in your deck. So that's the official list of the ranking of the spells. Please don't crucify me in the comments.